This episode is brought to you by the spectrum of homosexuality. For those of you who don't know what the spectrum of homosexuality is, it's that line of being kind of suspect, an example of when I dap up niggas, sometimes I accidentally hold their hand for longer than 3 seconds, to the far end in the example of I like sucking niggas' dicks. It's the definitive line between you might like some dudes and you might only like all dudes. But the thing about the spectrum of homosexuality is it has to involve a man and a man. I exclusively say men because women can kiss women and still be straight because double standards or whatever. Regardless, the spectrum of homosexuality requires, well, homosexuality. Guy on guy, Chad on Chad, dick on dick. A lightsaber battle, if you will. It is theoretically impossible for any guy on girl action to be on the spectrum of homosexuality. Even if your wife is blowing your fucking back out with a 12-inch dildo, because she's a woman, it therefore makes it straight. If taking a dick-shaped object in the ass makes you gay, then you niggas that grab your own dicks, put rocket pop popsicles in your mouth, and get your prostate exams in your ass are all fucking gay too. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a heterosexual man. Now let's start the episode.
Our sins and woes. Our sins and woes. Our sins and woes.
Welcome to episode, what episode are we on? 77. Welcome to episode 77 of Our Sins and Woes podcast, the podcast where Our Sins and Woes podcast, the podcast where I can't use that, I've been drinking. Welcome to episode 77 of the Our Sins and Woes podcast, the podcast where a bunch of dumbass millennials talk about the dumbest opinions, the dumbest perspectives, the dumbest mistakes, and the dumbest complaints. I'm your host, Nelson. Thank you for joining me today. Shout out YCC Entertainment. Shout out all the podcasts that are under YCC Entertainment. Shout out Tunes and Tantrums. Shout out, Shout out Tunes and Tantrums. Shout out Blur to Watch. Shout out The Stick. Shout out Protest and Riot. Shout out the 2 live shows that are on, I got you, nigga, relax. Shout out 2 live shows.
Shout out everything on the cup.
Shout out the 2 live shows, Open Mic, Girani's Open Mic and Limelight Vibes. And then shout out one of our soon to be coming shows, Primrose versus Anybody podcast, and the release episode, the podcast that's now released out on Patreon only, because episode 1 is not out yet, but he'll be recording episode 1 too. But the other podcast, the final podcast that's out, well, the second to final podcast that's out on YCC, fucking shit. Rap and Wrestle podcast with his host, Aaron, as my guest today. I'll get back to you in a second. Subscribe to the Patreon for as low as $1 a month, but up to $15. Me and Penrose can get the bitch out of your system on a monthly basis. We like to see you niggas succeed, and we hate to see you niggas be whole niggas your whole life, okay? So keep that shit up going for as long as it helps you, but eventually it's not gonna help you anymore, it'll just hurt you. So come join YCC for as low as $1, and we'll get the bitch out of your system. Not your bitch, but the bitch out of your system. So you'll still have to deal with that bitch, but you'll just be more manly doing it. As far as shout outs, that's all I got. Sorry, Q, that was a little extended, but I kept getting tongue-tied. Introducing my guest now. Are we calling you Aaron or Gary Oliver?
Gary Oliver for the podcast, but everyone that knows me personally knows I go by Aaron.
Okay, well, since we're business partners, we're not friends. I just got to go ahead and throw that out now because everybody thinks because we work together, we're friends.
No.
I mean, you cool. I fuck with you. But
yeah.
No, I'm not telling you who I'm crushing on.
That work relationship,
exactly,
you can be comfortable.
You get it. Yes. Nah, how are you, bro?
I'm doing good. I'm working, doing a lot of different ventures in my life, trying to level up.
Yeah. Welcome to the company, first and foremost.
Thank you.
And
you for letting me be a part of this company. For real.
And you know what's funny? I appreciate your patience because you caught me. The time that you caught me was probably the worst fucking time to catch me and bringing in a new podcast. And then you came to me about it, and I was like, all right, well, you got to sell me on this. And you sat with me, and I was like, okay, I want to see where this goes. Because already I think that the wrestling community is a very niche community to say. You have diehards. But there's a thing about wrestling, and I'll get into it after we get into the center of the day and the word of the week. But there's a thing where wrestling has affected everybody in a sense that like everybody knows something about it.
Exactly.
At least for the male community.
No, women too. No,
I mean like I'll be damned if you're a guy and you don't know anything about wrestling.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah,
and I'll dive into that later. But so I do look forward to seeing it because I don't see that. And I know that's not part of my algorithm. Mm-hmm. So that's probably why it doesn't show up. And
they're out there.
Yes, I believe it. And Obviously, the fucking stands. The stands are crazy. That shit, and the way people lose their fucking minds about it. It's. I look forward to seeing what you do with that, and then bringing it into the company too with that podcast. So we'll definitely get deeper into that podcast later on in the episode, or not later on, but after the sin of the day in the Wood Week. My sin of the day is I'm realizing that being so dedicated to the network is actually causing me to negatively affect the network. Because now we've been talking about this episode, we pushed it back, 3 times almost? Yeah, I mean, just in the last 2 weeks.
Exactly.
So, and I was sitting here like, I have everything that I need. I have all of my taglines and all of my points that I want to hit. The only thing I don't have is a sin of the day. Mm-hmm. And I was talking to my best friend about it. Shout out Q. I was talking to him about it, and I was like, yeah, I don't have any sin of the day, and I don't understand why. And he was like, I know you got a woe of the week. I was like, bro, I got so many fucking woes of the week. I got to throw a rock at that shit blind. But for sin of the days, I can't think of many mistakes that I've made lately outside of any ones that don't directly require me to call out people by name. Mm-hmm. So, and he was like, sounds like you need to get a social life. All that time you've been spending in the studio is probably affecting your social life. Yeah.
No one can talk to you because no one talks to you.
So then I'm like, oh, fuck. All the time, because I've been spending a lot of time in the studio lately, trying to push everything. Now that we've been doing a lot of upgrades. Shot in fucking 4K, baby. All 3 cameras. But because we've been doing a lot of upgrade, and then we have the new space, and we've been doing a lot with the new space. When you shot your promo episode for, or your episode 0 for Rap and Wrestle, which is available on Patreon right now. The audio is out when this audio comes out. Like, the audio is already out right now, but when this audio drops, the audio will already be out. When this video drops, the video will be on Patreon for episode 0 of Rap and Wrestle podcast. So subscribe for as low as $1, and we'll get that bitch out your system. But the amount of time I've been spending in the studio, like, we finally got rid of the green, we finally got the white walls now, and then we still got so much more to do with that. We got a couple little upgrades to do, while still streaming the weekly shows.
But I think it's coming together slowly. It's a process, bro. You're getting it done. That's the main point. You're getting it done.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't look at the problem in hindsight That's why I didn't see it in hindsight, because I was sitting here like, well, we're getting shit done around here.
Exactly.
But now the fact that I'm so focused on being in here and trying to get the network along and stuff like that, I've been taking away from my social experiences. Mm-hmm. So then when it comes to like talking about life experiences, it's like, nigga, what life experience?
He said,
you don't have any.
Work?
Right, exactly. And I hate coming on this podcast and talking about work.
Yeah. Especially if that's all you're doing right now, just working. You do get to lose yourself. You're like, okay, what do I like to do for fun? I forgot what's fun anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what it's been a lot of that, and I feel like I have to figure out a way to find that balance, because I don't mind being in the studio, but like maybe. And that's why I think once there was a couple other things I need to do. So hopefully within the next month, I'll be back to live streaming, being in the studio.
Okay.
So once I'm in the studio and I'm editing and stuff, then I can, sit there and live stream, dick off with the YouTube chat, because the YouTube chat shows up, especially for like the live shows that we're doing every week.
Yeah.
So I know I can sit and stream on YouTube while I'm editing.
Right.
And that can create some kind of engagement. People send you links and be like, yo, check this out. What do you think about this kind of stuff? And that creates that, even though it's kind of like secluded to like, I don't want to say keyboard warrior lifestyle, but it still opens that, like most of the time I'm just sitting here by myself listening to music while I'm editing. So people aren't even in the building, but, and then when they are, sometimes I'm still just secluded here, go out, show face for a second, come back in here, get back to work. Mm-hmm. So I have to find that balance between, there's nothing wrong with the amount of time that I dedicate to work, especially since I enjoy it that much. but I'm getting
Yeah.
lost, and it's taking away from the life experience, which is the part that drives the Arsenal Woes podcast.
Yeah. And that's the thing. When you're working, and if you enjoy it, then it's just like that's all you do.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm zoned in. I'm in my zone, and people on the outside don't see it. They're like, okay, why are you always doing this and that? Why are you
Yeah.
always working? It's because this
If you
is
got
what
a
I
problem
do.
with how much time I spend in the studio, suck my dick, all right? Straight like that.
Like you're enjoying yourself.
Yes, right.
And if you're enjoying yourself, that's all that matters. For real.
Exactly. So,
It'd be different if you didn't enjoy it and you just
would be
like,
crazy.
oh, it's work.
That's
I gotta
work.
do it. Like,
That's what my full-time is. Do something. I always say your full-time job should always be your main source of income. Nope, that's not even what I say. I'll just say your full-time job. You're 9 to 5. Okay, you're 9 to 5 because if your main source of income is passive income, then this doesn't apply to you. But your main 9 to 5 should be what you're best at, not what you like.
right.
My full-time job, I'm good at it. But
Yeah.
like, do I want to do it for the rest of my life?
It's like
No.
it's not something like I envisioned for myself.
Correct.
It's not something like I can say like, hey, I put my all into this because this is all I want to do.
Granted, I put enough into it, but I wouldn't say I
Right.
put my all into
Exactly.
it. Like the when I get off that job, I come to this job and I'm like, I don't mind.
Exactly.
But if I got off this job and I went to that one, I'd be pissed off.
He's like, "Ah, now I gotta go do this, but
Yeah,
I'm
sometimes
not
I
gonna
wake-
lack at it, but I'm gonna.
Yeah, sometimes I
Put
get
my
up,
best effort.
I'll come to the studio early before I go to work, and then I'll be in here for 3 hours and be like, all right, I guess it's time for me to go to work, and then I get to work, and I'm like, fuck, why am I here right now? But
Exactly.
I'm never in the studio saying, why am I here right now? So, yeah, no, I gotta find
that's
that
the
perfect.
one.
Yeah, that work required and work wanted relationship in the sense of like, I enjoy doing this, but maybe I'm doing it too much where it's taking away negative wise, but there's ways to find around it. I need to get back in the habit of taking my work on the go. Mm-hmm. I think that was a thing that I always used to do, but since I'm starting to build the studio up, it's like, well, the whole point is to not make it so that I have to take the work on the
Yeah.
go. But there has to be a thin line where,
You can leave work at work and
Yeah.
have time to go, quote unquote, play.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you niggas are looking for any jobs, I'm just kidding. Leave me alone. Don't even reach out. I had one dude reach out to me at the live show last week. He goes, this is why I can't deal with people. This is why I try to set like barriers for when people try to talk to me about business. I like, go talk to that nigga. If that nigga sends you to me, maybe we'll talk. But some people aren't. Shout out W, because W, my co-executive producer for Giovanni's and Limelight, he's good at vetting people before they get to me.
Okay.
Even if I send them back to him, like somebody comes talk to me, I'll send them to him. And if they get through him, then they'll come back to me, and I'll be like, I'll set my standards after that.
Yeah.
Because he cares more about what you'll do. I just want to see if you're serious.
That's the one.
We can give you jobs once you come in, but I need to know that you're going to show up.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this nigga came up to me at Limelight Vibes like 2 weeks ago, and he goes, he's just like, hey, you're the production guy, right? Production lead. Watch your fucking mouth. But but I'm like, yeah, I'm on the production
okay.
team. And he's like, yeah, I want to join the production team instantly. What do you want to do? Like, what do you want to do for the production team? He's like, expand you guys. I don't need you to expand me. What do you want to do on the production team?
That we have currently right now,
Right.
before we even go that far.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
somebody comes up to you and say, hey, I want to expand you guys, and you're not a fucking sponsor, suck my dick.
Exactly.
And then I
Like,
say,
what can you do for me?
Right.
Other than say something.
right,
And-
other than talk.
yeah.
But you
Other
say,
than doing exactly what we're doing right now, and you just want to be a part of it.
conversations. We'll get into it. But but he said, well, network. I said, okay, dude, you said you want to be a part of the production team. Yeah. I said, what do you want to do on the production team? The production team does make sure that the show gets out, that the show happens. What do you want to do to help the production team? He was like, well, network. Isn't that what the purpose of this is? I said, dude, I'm busy right now. Come back next week and remind me before the show starts, and we can have a conversation. But right now, I don't have the mental space for it right now. Because at that point, Anybody can say. Okay, so here's a personal issue I have. I don't like to assign roles that you didn't come in asking for.
Yeah.
We talked. You wanted to be a podcast host. You had a great idea for a podcast. You sold me on it. Okay. I'm not gonna ask you to video edit.
Yeah.
If you said, oh, also I do sound engineering, then I'd be like, dope. I'll start sending you audio tracks. But like, if you came in to be a podcast host, that's all I want you to be. I'll go find somebody that wants to be a sound engineer. I'll find somebody that wants to be a video editor. But when you start assigning people roles that they didn't want to begin with, or they weren't interested, now, okay, people come in and they get interested in their jobs and stuff like that, but they always had passions before, so you find other things for them to do that incorporates that.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but for me, I don't like to give out extra jobs. So if you tell me
extra is just like, okay, well, hold on, I don't know how to do this, and you got to walk them through.
And if you don't know how to do it and you want to learn how to do it, that's different. But if you came in with the purpose of learning how to do it, that's a different conversation.
Right.
But for somebody like that, you're just like, yeah, I want to be a part of the company. Well, what do you want to do a part of the company? I don't know.
Something. Like, just give me something to do. And then they'll try and say, I don't really fit this. And then that's just
the
problem time.
See, and this is what I hate. You can't really hold accountability on trying to get somebody to do something they didn't want to do.
Right, but it's them saying, like, I can at least try, but they're not putting in their effort. You can tell it's just like,
correct.
Okay,
and you sometimes you have to ride the wave, and I get that. And maybe I'm just being an asshole to that guy. I mean, fuck it, I don't care. But maybe I was being an asshole to that guy. Maybe you could have brought something great. But like, if I tell you what do you want to do, and you say network, that just tells me, for me, networking is like, you go out and talk to people. I don't need you to go out and talk to people. I need work done.
Yeah.
The networking is going to happen, dude. We're live streaming every week. We have headliners that bring their fan base. We have open micers that find out about us and come and to bring their family and all that shit. The networking is going to happen regardless. I don't need you to come network.
Now, if you said networking with something he already has on the table, like, hey, I can bring all of this to you and I want to.
Correct.
Yeah, but you just say networking.
Expand.
Let me do this, take this part from you and do this for you. That's helpful, but that's not what you need right now.
Correct. So yeah, networking is not the correct answer. And there's been a lot of conversations I've been having lately that I haven't been one to have. But that's neither here nor there. Because I don't want to get too deep in that. I want to get this Woe of the Week out, and then I want to get into Rap and Wrestle. Woe of the Week. Shout out to... I don't know if I want to name drop. Actually, yes, I do. I don't mind. Bruh. What? R. Kelly just dropped another banger.
How?
I don't know.
His last shit got deleted with the quickness.
Apparently, apparently Snoop Dogg dropped a song and it's got That's That Shit. And R. Kelly's featured on it. No, I'm not gonna do that to you. I'm not gonna have y'all listen to Kelly on my podcast. That's some shit they do over at Joe Budden. We don't do that over here.
I will say this. I have been an R. Kelly fan. I don't fuck with Robert. I separate the two. I separate the two.
Crazy.
Robert, that nigga tripping. R. Kelly, he made some hits. But R. Kelly's last album had Robert written all over it.
Wait,
I was like, nah.
What's your last album?
So he dropped an album last year, and it got deleted like within.
But he dropped the album
2
this
hours.
year.
Again?
Yes, he dropped another album. The song that's got I Admit It.
Yeah, I thought that was last year.
No,
or was
it
that
was
this year?
It was like February.
Oh, I thought that was last
Or
year, but
January. Because I remember we talked about it on Protest and Riot. I never downloaded that shit, and that album was fire. Fuck you.
Yeah. No.
55 minutes of great R. Kelly, okay?
He was saying...
He was linking himself, but R. Kelly's always been self-snitching.
He's like, how y'all gonna call me a pedophile? I'm just like, shut the fuck up. What? Yes, you are. You are.
I'm not here to defend that nigga. I'm just here to defend his music, okay? So I'm playing Still a Banger. Fuck you niggas that do not like Chocolate Factory. And Trapped in the Closet is pure greatness.
Hey, Trapped in the Closet had niggas chokehold for real. Part 1 to part 20, however it ended, I'm just like,
I ain't never respected a midget until fucking
Nah, R. Kelly, it was different. It was real different. It was something that, like, it was creative. I'll give him that. That was very creative.
He gonna keep fucking with them kids. He gonna be trapped in a casket.
That's right now. He's just trapped in a cell.
Shit. We're gonna have to come back to that because I don't know what a casket match is. But
I got you.
So fucking rewind. My woe of the week is shout out to Mavi, one of our episode guests. Cause she told me, I asked her, I hit her up. I saw her out in public, and I asked her, I was like, yo, your friend's cute. How old is she? And first I said, how old is your friend? I didn't even say she was cute. I said, how old is your friend? And she told me her age.
She's cute.
Right. I said, and I asked her how old she was, and she told me, and I was like, damn. Well, she a little cute. And the conversation basically went on to, you're gonna have to learn that women are out of your league. And I said, I have almost 10 years on it. Right. I was like, I have almost 10 years on this woman. How is she out of my league? You have to be Stephen Hawking's with a vagina for you to be that age and out of my league.
Define you can't even define it because there's no such thing as a league. This ain't no basketball league.
Right.
This is like,
I'm college and I'm D12. I'm D5 and you're D3. Get the fuck out of here. Like, no, that's not how that works.
It's not how that works because, not to brag on myself, but I fuck women that's quote unquote out of my league. But guess what? I still did it.
That's because they're not out of your league.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
And here's the thing though, they approached me.
Right. I'll say, I always, now there's a difference between dating up and dating out of your league. Dating out of your league is you're a 3 dating a 10. Dating up is you're a 5 dating a 6.5. 6.5 is not out of your league if you're a 5.
Yeah. And my thing is, like,
Jay-Z's a 7.
Listen, I say
Beyonce's a 8.
I've always said beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right?
Is that on the spectrum of homosexuality? I do not know. Go ahead. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
It's not. In your defense, it's not. But no, like, if someone's beautiful or attractive to you, that's you. No one else is in your relationship.
You're not the gatekeeper for who looks attractive and who doesn't?
Exactly. No one else is in your relationship. If they say something about who you like, then that's on them.
But
not
I don't
on
give
you.
a fuck what you like. You're not going to sit here and tell me you're out of my league. I don't care. First of all, on my worst day, solid 6.5. If I clean up, 7.5 to 8, inarguably. If I clean up, dress up, get nice, 7.5, I'll put an 8 on sometimes. But when I don't try, I'm at least a 6.5. Bitch, who the fuck do you think you are?
My thing, I know I'm not the best looking motherfucker in this world, but I'm gonna walk into this world with all the confidence like I'm a fucking 10 because
I am usually the smartest person in the room, but I'll give you looks, even if you just want to stay on looks. 6.5, solid. On my worst day.
The thing is, I don't care.
Also that, because I have so much more to offer than,
looks.
a pretty face.
Like,
but also that tells me if looks are so fucking important to you, because that was the argument. She was like, looks matter. And I was like, well, if looks matter, all you're telling me is that, shout out Mavi, I love you. Like, you were a fun podcast guest, but you only one of my 6 best friends. You were there for that episode, weren't you? Yeah,
Yes.
I forgot about that.
Oh my God.
I can't remember what episode that was. It was in the 50s. Yeah, that one was in the 50s. And multiple best friends. I do remember the episode name though.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Shout out Mommy. But But yeah, the argument was, well, looks matter. And I'm like, yeah, but if you say looks matter and she's out of my league, that tells me that as long as they're fucking fine, they can be broken, ain't shit, and a fuck boy. But if they're fine, they're in my league.
But you know what? That's what they like.
I'm too, but the age makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's what I had to look at it and be like, okay. Well, if I think about your age, that makes sense.
Like it's, we live
that's
in a
all
world
you have to offer is your looks at that age.
where only thing that matters is if they have money or if they can make me look good. Not themselves, make me look good. As in saying...
That's crazy. Hot take. Yeah, it's not even about how bad you are, because if I'm a 3 and you're a 4, dating up, you make me look better. That's a full fucking circle.
Can you make me look better so that way someone who's a higher number than you looks at me as well, and I can keep going up
and keep escalating up the league charts,
whatever that means.
Just throw that one in the back pocket for episode names right there. But yeah, I thought it was fucking crazy, and that shit drives me off the saying because it's like, first of all, again, I don't like to act like I'm the smartest person in the room, but I'm well endowed with intelligence. Mm-hmm. I'm a very smart person because I'm super big picture. So I see, I'm like, who was that dude? Action Man. Is that before your time? It used to come on like Saturday mornings. There's this dude that could like dial it in, plug it out, play it out, or something like that. He would say something and he would like see the whole scheme and he'd be able to do like the math of what was about to happen next.
And probably is before my time. Yeah.
For you niggas that know Action Man, y'all know. If you know, you know. But he would be able to see, like, he would basically, like, inside of his head, slow down time and be able to see the possible outcomes of what he should do next and what's about to happen. Mm. And then follow that to save the world type shit. So, and that's how I kind of maneuver, like, if I take this route, then it leads there. If I take this route, it leads there. What's the best possible outcome 12 steps down the road?
Yeah.
Type shit. So... but
I think ahead in this world.
Exactly. So my intelligence is one. I'm charismatic as fuck. I don't care what anybody says, even if I'm a dick, because I'm a dick to people that want to be my friends. Or I'm a dick and people still want to be my friends, and I'm trying to fight people off as my friends in this day and age. So like, I have so much more to offer. What do you mean you're out of my league? I'm 32. I got no kids. I got a college education.
See,
I have a great job, and I own a company.
When another person tells me I'm out of another person's league,
that's wild. And I didn't even get to that part.
It's just like, no. I'm just not what you're looking for. No, you don't know exactly what she's looking for because you might have just blocked her blessing. You never know.
And probably because the men she fucks with are out of your league. I'm not saying that specifically about you. I'm just saying that in general.
I ain't saying shit.
But yeah, that's my fucking woe of the week. People that go around with that out of my league fucking thing. Yo, out of my league is you doing better than I was doing at 22. And 22,
like
I wasn't really doing shit. But
broke ain't shit, man. Going for a millionaire baller baby.
Right. Like I was still like very severely self-sufficient. I always had money for tree at 22 because I was in the military. You know, they gave you shit. Like they gave you money for weed, but not weed money. If that makes sense. You had enough money to get weed, you just didn't have weed money.
We're gonna get into that. Yeah.
But yeah, that's my set of the day. That's my will of the week. Rap and Wrestle podcast. Why the fuck do we need a wrestling podcast?
Because you don't have one. There
are no wrestling podcasts? Okay.
I say you don't have one. YCC Entertainment doesn't have one.
Fair point. Mm-hmm. What I feel like, and again, maybe it's because of my algorithm, because even like when we did Tunes and Tantrums, when we did Blur Watch, when we did The Sticks, I know enough about all of those to be able to, have conversation with. So at some point, they'll slide into my algorithm. Like I'm still watching all the Marvel trailers that come out. Shout out to the Marvels that just came out today.
That shit finna be hard.
Yeah, whatever. Furious Angels is what they should call that shit.
That's funny. That's funny as shit.
Fucking Thickums, Plink, and Child.
Shout out Monica Rambeau.
Thick as fuck. But for wrestling, and this goes back to what I was going to say about the everybody knows something about it. Mm-hmm. I think for a boy growing up, wrestling had an impact on all of us.
Yeah.
There wasn't a time where you weren't, well, okay, I was going to say wasn't a time where you weren't wrestling with your dad, but shout out my narcissist biological father. I never wrestled with that nigga. But I understand the concept of wrestling with your father. Or like every kid that went to school, even if you didn't watch wrestling religiously, mm-hmm. you had a favorite wrestler.
Mm-hmm. And they all, did something wrestling related.
Yeah.
And, when you're lost in the sauce, you're just like, what is that from? And then that piques your curiosity. Yeah. And then it's levels.
No, it is. Yeah. And that's what I say. Like wrestling, you that's that one thing, like you at least, everybody can name one superhero. Mm-hmm. Everybody could name, like, especially growing up, right. Everybody could name one wrestler. And I think the crazy thing about it is because everybody knew something about wrestling, I just think it's something that a lot of people outgrew over time. Mm-hmm. How do you bring them back into that fold?
So bringing them back, I have had friends who said, I used to watch wrestling and now, I fell off. Where I was stationed, I had, I was watching wrestling in my barracks and people would come around and like, oh, bro, he still wrestles? Oh, he's still doing this? And they're like, yeah, he never stopped. You stopped watching. Yeah. He never stopped or whatever. So it's
John Cena still wrestling is crazy to me.
He's a part-timer now, so, he wrestles when it's convenient enough for him because, he's making movies. Shout out Peacemaker. Exactly. That shit is hard. But so bringing him back into it, it's like, you got to give them something that like would pique their interest, especially like if it's one of their favorites from a childhood. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, look what he's doing now. And you're like, what? And then they're locked in. Case in point, it was the Royal Rumble 2018. I was sitting there watching in the barracks. Some people, they're over here, they're over there. And then Rey Mysterio comes out. Everyone knows fucking Rey Mysterio. One of my boys, he was there. He's like, bro, that's Rey Mysterio. I grew up with him. And he's in. And like, he just returned. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know it was going to happen. And then he was like, yeah, he doing all this. He doing that. Oh, he's going to do 619. It's just like, they know.
Yeah.
And so that low-key brought him back in, too. Like, not to say, like, he was watching it, like, weekly, like me or whatever, but, like, he was just like, hey, is Rey Mysterio about to have a match? Like, he asked me that. Yeah. And I was just like, actually, yeah. Like, you came in just in time. He's like, yeah, I heard that booyaka. I was like, there you go. And he just sat there and watched the match and then watched the rest of the show afterwards. I'm just like.
For me, I can't get past TikToks, but I do enjoy TikToks and shit. Except, like, remember when, who does the RKOs?
Randy Orton.
When Randy Orton was everything that was Vine into TikTok.
RKO out of nowhere, all that era. Yeah.
I still think it was the spaceship one is fucked up. But like, but the slithering like a snake, there he goes, Randy Orton, RKO.
Exactly. Like, it became a meme. Yeah. But like, it blew up because hell, that's what Randy Orton does. Yeah. He RKOs motherfuckers out of nowhere.
It's called the Midwest because everything there is mid.
Yes. That was.
Some of our best memes have come out of wrestling.
I'm actually surprised that one blew up as much as it did. Like, it was funny. Like, as a wrestling fan, it was funny. So to see it, like, go up, it's like, oh, see all y'all now. Yeah. Tune in. Now watch. Now watch this.
Yeah, no. And I think that's what it is. If, like, because if I don't want, if nostalgia is the only thing that brings people back, that's a problem. But
that is true, yeah.
So, like, I guess the question is, how do you bring people into the fold when, like, maybe they're some of my favorite wrestlers, well, no, not even that. It's like my favorite wrestlers probably don't wrestle anymore. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I grew up with The Undertaker and
who just retired, yeah.
Yeah, and Goldberg and Rikishi.
Yeah, okay. So
that's my era of wrestling.
So here's the thing. So like,
take Triple H.
And Triple H, he's now running the show. Mm-hmm. So you could say like, hey, your favorite, he's now running the show. Rikishi, these are his sons, and his sons put on hella great matches all the time. He's like, okay, they're doing moves like Rikishi.
The butt thing?
Well, like they'll back into the corner, they'll do that, but they won't like
Rikishi
throw
was
his
twerking on
ass in
faces.
there.
Rikishi was the original I like my ass ate, but I'm not gay type of nigga.
He really did that. But so
Full circle.
So it's just like
What's Rikishi spectrum?
I can't lie, because I wanted to be a wrestler. I started wrestling, and then a car accident ended that for me because I have a bad back. So I was thinking to myself, like, if I ever was like getting in a ring with someone like Rikishi, who's like throwing your ass in his face, I don't know if I could do that. I was just sitting there, just like, hey, bro, come on, man. Come on, man. All right, yeah, it's over. We're done. Next one.
Hey, bro, it's not even upstairs, man. Come on, chill out. All right, they got it.
Yeah. Like spots over. Something new. Let me super kick you. Let me drop kick you real quick.
You're doing too much. That's crazy.
So,
shit. Rikishi's at me hollering.
So like I said, there's generations from talents that you grew up with that are there as well. And then, putting people on to like all this new stuff, and it's like, oh, it's not the same. It's not supposed to be the same.
No, it's supposed to grow. Music ain't the same.
Exactly.
Movies aren't the same.
So I would like try to showcase people like, matches that are like talked about the most. So that way they're like, oh, and then, so I remember.
To show them what the it's I don't want to say showing them what the algorithm is, but showing them what this sense of like, what's the talk of the town these days?
Like what's going on now? Yeah. So I remember it was WrestleMania at my crib. My friends who don't really watch wrestling that much, they sat there and watched wrestling with me. They reacted with me. Like they were tuned in because they were like, you know what? Fuck, this is what's happening right now. And it was the night. So this guy, Kofi Kingston, a black man, became the first African-American world champion in the WWE. And that was huge for everyone, like within the company.
Isn't that like...
It was
Isn't that a political statement in a sense because it's wrestling?
Yes and no, but because of how they brought it up. It wasn't like, oh, he's on the journey to become the first black champion. It was, this man's been in this company for 11 years, hasn't really had a chance. The fans are making noise for him now. Okay. So now he's being gifted this opportunity.
If the fans are steering you, that's different. That's okay. Because I always forget, because the way, I don't know how to say it without offending. Wait, do you think wrestling's real?
After being in the ring and doing this, it's not fake. Punches are pulled.
I understand what you're saying. I'm going to ask you the same question again.
Okay, the bumps are real. The impact and forces, all that, it's expected. Like, it's coming.
If I fake hit you, yes, it's still a hit. It's just a pulled punch.
Yeah, and then it's coming rather than like it's not a full on.
That's what I'm
fight,
saying.
Like a UFC fight.
I want to make sure you're not one of those people that believe like wrestling's real and like these guys actually don't go in the locker room afterwards and talk to each other like they're cool.
Well, they do.
I know.
But, like it's not a real fight. Like
that's what I'm saying.
Like they're talking shit at each other in the ring, and then go backstage like they're still talking
Yo,
shit.
Man, you want to take a shot?
No, it'll be like that for real. So like, there are times where it leaves the ring where it's like real heat, of course, and that's talked about in the wrestling world. But that gauges fans into more like, oh, okay, when they actually have their match, they're gonna go at it, and sometimes it do be like they're going at it. They really want to hurt each other. You can tell.
I'm asking that just to make sure that we are on the same page that they're actors, talented actors, stunt doubles,
sports entertainers.
Sports entertainers, I'll give you.
Yeah,
boxing
might be scripted, but we ain't gonna. I ain't gonna talk about boxing.
Don't you do that to Floyd Mayweather. Don't you dare do that to Floyd Mayweather, okay?
See, I didn't even bring up Floyd, so you know.
He's the only boxer that anybody would call scripted. Other than Logan Paul, which I didn't know he wrestled.
Yeah, he's actually pretty good at it.
That's crazy. You said he's better at wrestling than boxing.
Yeah.
That's what
he even said it himself.
Boxer. Yeah, I believe that.
And it's not only because of
Logan Paul's gonna get his teeth punched and he keeps fucking around. with everything he's fucking around with.
I respect Logan Paul in the ring, but outside, I'm just like, this guy, he's
getting into too many rings. He's getting in the boxing ring, he's getting in the wrestling ring, he's also getting in the YouTube ring.
And he just re-signed too, which is crazy.
Logan Paul's gonna get his fucking teeth punched in.
But thing is, he talked his shit with wrestling, but he backed it up. I will give him that. He backed it up. He's put on great matches just recently at WrestleMania with Seth Rollins. That was a really good match. And people can talk all they want about it, but it was a great match. Like, Logan Paul is an arrogant SOB. He fits perfectly in the wrestling world because it's a character.
Yeah. Wait, so will Kanye fit good in the wrestling ring?
Kanye, I mean, look, I love Kanye, but sometimes he be taking this shit too damn serious.
That's why he would be perfect in the wrestling ring.
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. Because he might think it's real.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, we don't want that.
Exactly. Somebody might say, all right, we're going up for a choke slam. And he's like, so you're going to put your hand around my neck and just fight him off. He's like, no,
ninja move.
Right. He's like, no, Kanye, you're supposed to go up, bro. Stop. And just walk out.
That's crazy. I mean, so there's Logan Paul being in wrestling is hilarious. You got to explain these two things to me. A casket match.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
So it's a match. You know, you're wrestling to put your opponent in a casket and close the lid. That's how you win the match.
It's a reverse Undertaker.
Well, mostly it's been an Undertaker match. Mostly, like 9 times out of 10 of those matches, it's always.
Oh, that's right. Because
Undertaker
Undertaker used to
match.
put you in the casket that he came in. Hey, yo.
But no, yeah, so basically the match is, you know, you're wrestling, no pinfalls, no countouts, no submissions. You have to put your opponent in the casket and then shut the lid. That's how you win the match.
An Iron Man match.
Iron Man, okay, so you're wrestling until an extended time limit.
Yo, that's
Be
crazy.
30
Niggas in the hood been doing casket matches their whole life. No cancel button today, bitches. All right, so the Iron Man match.
So Iron Man match is when you wrestle a match for an extended period of time on a time limit, either be 30 minutes or 60 minutes. Within those time frames, you can score as many pinfalls as you can.
Okay.
The first person with a higher pinfall count wins the match, pinfall or submission. Or, you know, if it's a standard match, you know, you can be disqualified or counted out.
Okay, so it's almost stamina based.
Yeah, so like if someone's up 5-3, they win the match. Or if it's 5-5, you can either go overtime or they'll call the match a draw.
That's actually closer to regular match. Okay, so what's it? Because I used to wrestle in high school. So
Yeah.
What's the difference between WWE and college wrestling?
Amateur style and pro wrestling style. So
That's called amateur style?
yeah, amateur wrestling. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, it is, but that's, you know, that's how you decipher the two, for real. So amateur style, it's actually more like you're actually trying to get someone over. You're trying to pin someone. Like I did amateur style. So going into pro style, they're like, no, you don't have to grab them so hard. You ain't got to do this and that. Like, you know, they'll go with you. Amateur, you got to force them
Yeah,
down.
that shit.
You got to, you know.
The only thing you had to do was let them down softly.
It is stamina. So therefore, like
I was in the best shape of my life when I did wrestling in high school, though. The best shape of my life.
I would have, but my grades. but no. So amateur, it's grapple. It's grappling. You're forcing someone over. You're doing this. You're doing that. So with pro wrestling, you don't really have to force someone as much. But you know, if you need to get someone up, cooperate. Get it. Let's get up. Let's get over together.
Yeah.
And you know, mat based style for amateur, mat based, you're hand in hand, like you're going against each other. Pro style, you're going with each other.
Yeah. I actually really wanted to know what the difference in the name was, but it's funny that they call it amateur style. But I guess there's no professional style, that level of wrestling, though.
Yeah, it goes collegiate and that's it. And then, you know, stuff like off to the side or whatever. But like most amateur wrestlers go into pro wrestling for real. Like a lot of them. Like I don't know if you heard the name Brock Lesnar.
No.
Like, big name. He was a NCAA champion, all that, and went on to WWE. He got recruited from them. Mm-hmm. Dude's a GOAT. And then he went into the UFC. Still goated. Like, he became UFC heavyweight champion. Came back, still on top of the WWE. Bobby Lashley, one of my favorites because, big black man that can fuck all these motherfuckers up. So he was also in amateur style wrestling. Got recruited by the Army wrestling team first. Went into the Army.
Yo, can you imagine? It's like segue. What was the show called with the celebrity death match? Mm-hmm. Donald Trump and R. Kelly in a casket match. Oh my God.
Celebrity Deathmatch was my shit, bro.
Celebrity Deathmatch was the shit, bro.
Honestly, they need to come back.
They do need to come back.
Like, there's so much, they can do.
Agreed, except we're in that time and era where people are like, I don't like that they killed me off in that show.
Donald Trump, people have been killing you. No, I'm not doing that today.
Trump and Robert in a casket match. That's the episode name right there.
I would like to see that.
No, I'll say Trump and R. Kelly. Yeah. Easier clickbait. Trump and R. Kelly in a casket match. That's the episode name right there.
Oh my God.
Because Robert keep on, they're going to put him in a casket. So before we get into the playlist plug of the week, the plug of the week. Yeah, volume 3 playlist plug of the week. Before we get into that, so the show is called Rap and Wrestle. Also, I designed the cover art. Just want y'all to know that. He gave me the idea, but then
shit's fire.
I put it on paper. The podcast is called Rap and Wrestle. How do you go about building that bridge between rap and wrestling?
Now, that's the thing. I don't even have to build it. It's already being built. I just, touch up on it, expand it. So I talked about this on episode 0. The rapper Deuce Deuce?
Yes.
So he went out on stage, I think it was during Rolling Loud. He hit a wrestling move, the 3D, on stage. It blew up in the wrestling world, and it blew up in the rap community. Mm-hmm. Action Bronson. He wrestled on AEW. Action Bronson has been a huge wrestling fan. And his bars and a majority of his songs are wrestling. Same with Griselda. Same with...
Did you say Wale?
Wale has Wale Mania.
That's crazy. I did not know that.
Wale Mania. He brings out wrestlers to be a part of his show.
That's crazy. I did not know that.
Yeah. He does it during WrestleMania weekend. He's goated. He's been on wrestling. He's been on he's been there.
Didn't you say Soulja Boy was beefing with
Randy Orton? that was a time because it even got
Randy Orton boy RKO.
It even got me and my best friend Jude. We were going back and forth on who was more influential in the world, Randy Orton or Soulja Boy.
That's crazy. That's wild.
Because there's they both go hand in hand, but I feel see, I can't even defend it back and forth right now because it'll be one-sided. Me saying Randy Orton's more influential than Soulja Boy. Now, granted, Soulja Boy, we grew up with his music, and music is a big prominent force in our world. But Randy Orton, he hasn't died out in a sense. Soulja Boy.
Randy Orton ran Vine.
Right. Randy Orton has continuously done what he's done, his craft. Soulja Boy, he started off hot, disappeared for a minute, came back, and then disappeared again. It's not to say he's not influential as well. I'm not saying that at all. But
he gave us Bathe the Apes.
But when it comes to Randy Orton, though, he's influenced a bunch of different generational stars that have come up into wrestling. He's influenced children. I don't know if you heard of the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yeah,
he's granted a lot of wishes as well. There's levels. Yeah. When it comes to influential.
Also, he will RKO the shit out of Soulja Boy.
Right, and that beef was hilarious. It's just like, because he was talking about wrestling being fake, this and that, yada, yada, and Randy Orton made more money than him. And he's like, So
you're not winning that one?
Everybody's looking like, Soulja, you're not winning, but like, hey, shout out to you, making yourself relevant again.
So if that bridge is happening, what's like one of the most obvious brands outside of that? Like, as far as, what's when you think outside of Wale, because I would consider Wale in a top.
Like wrestling?
No. I would consider Wale a top in artistry.
Okay, but, I see what you mean.
Other than, like, who are other rap legends or hip hop legends that have always been very...
Snoop Dogg. Just at WrestleMania, Snoop Dogg hit a people's elbow in front of 80,000 people. It was the worst people's elbow ever, but guess what? It was Snoop Dogg, so you're going to respect it.
I'm going to let him have that.
You're going to respect it. Snoop Dogg, Bad Bunny. Mm-hmm. Bad Bunny's about to have another match.
Another match?
Yeah.
He had a first match?
Yes, WrestleMania 2 years ago.
That's crazy.
Like, there's a lot, like, artists that are coming up, or old artists. I'm trying to think of another one, because there's a lot of, like, artists, not even just in WWE, in AEW, All Elite Wrestling, there have been artists. Even Mike Tyson, who's now a Hall of Famer in the WWE, has been on there. Like,
well, he's also been in Kung Fu movies, so.
Fair point. So, Shaquille O'Neal.
Did not know that. That's crazy that there's that many people that, and again, because it's never been into my algorithm.
Exactly.
But you'd be surprised to find out that there are that many people that are actually and actively involved in wrestling.
Like it's not a secret. You know what I'm saying? It's not frowned upon as much. I get shit for watching wrestling, sure, but I don't give a damn. I got shit for actually wrestling. I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
That's something I enjoy and something I enjoyed doing before I got hurt. Now, do I want to do it again 100 times over? I would do it again.
Yeah. Yeah, I look forward to seeing what you do with that, especially with that bridge, because now, even in just this conversation, I've learned so much about how that goes back to something so close to me like hip hop culture. So I look forward to seeing.
I hate to use the term local artists, but I know a bunch of local artists who have wrestling like within their algorithm of their music that, you know, they can talk about that too. And which I plan on doing, like, you know, with guests on the podcast. I
guess you should point that out, that it is a predominantly single hosted show, but you plan on bringing different guests of different walks of life out throughout the episode. Tune in. I'm sure within a couple weeks, literally a couple weeks, within this episode coming out, Rap and Wrestle episode 1 will be out.
Yep.
On streaming platforms. So make sure you tune in. We're going to say bye. We do this plug of the week, say bye to you free niggas. And I'm going to come at this nigga's neck because he's got to explain to me why, if wrestling's so popular and these wrestlers are so convincing, why do they all suck at acting? So we'll get into that. We'll get into that. So, but for the playlist plug of the week, for the episode 7, episode 77, but volume 3, plug of the week. If you know Limelight Vibes, you've seen these two guys, Saba and Dean. Dope ass project that they have, and of course, as always, it'll be in a SoundCloud playlist plug of the week. And I don't have nothing to say. It's not one of those songs that I don't have to say anything about it because you're gonna listen to it and you're gonna fuck with it. So, Know About It by Saba featuring Dean.
How you doing, little shorty? You attracting all these niggas, but ain't listen to their story with that. What's your name? What's your sign? Soon as he turn a blind, I'm already by your side, alright? Grab your phone, put my number in it. When you need company, I'll be down to visit. Private conversations, let's get down to business. I think you looking exquisite, your body like an exhibit. I'm tryna purchase tickets, she said. Or you thinking I'ma show it on the first night? I don't show it to just anybody. Nah, I ain't tripping, little mama, I'm down to work for it. Yeah, I'm not just everybody. Know about it, talk about it, then be about it, baby. Show it if you got it. We don't fuck with anybody. We go out of body. This ain't for everybody. So keep your ass up in the crib. Know about it, talk about it, then be about it, baby. Show it if you got it. We don't fuck with anybody. We go out of body. This ain't for everybody. So keep your ass up in the crib.
Have you ever had a real one? Shawty, now you rockin' with a real one. I can show you things you never seen and make you feel something. Yo, tell me why you put up with this little man child. Nigga looking like my child. I see this nigga got no style. My skin look good and I look better. I got my bag, I got my check. Boy too slow and we can't measure. Fine like diamond, apply that pressure. Yo, shawty, have you ever had a real one? Yo, shawty, now you rockin' with a real one. I can show you things you never seen and make you feel something. And make you feel something. And make you feel
What
something.
you know about it, talk about it, then be about it, baby. Show it if you got it. We don't fuck with anybody. We go out of body. This ain't for everybody. So keep your ass up in the crib. Know about it, talk about it, then be about it, baby. Show it if you got it. We don't fuck with anybody. We go out of body. This ain't for everybody. So keep your ass up in the crib.
Shaba, Saba and Dean know about it. Dope ass song. Didn't have to say more. As always, it'll be in the SoundCloud playlist plug of the week. I'm gonna give a massive shout out. Can you tell I ran back? Give a massive shout out to Mr. Gary Oliver, the wrestler himself, for coming on and gracing you free niggas with an opportunity to learn about his podcast. No, I'm kidding. Humble yourself, nigga. It's not that serious. Jesus. Fuck. I am winded. Give me a second. Tell her they can find you. Fuck.
I just let you speak your piece, dog.
Yeah, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on my podcast page at Rap and Wrestle on Instagram. You can find my personal show _off_ on Instagram.
YCCentertainment.com/rap in the letter N wrestle.
And yes.
Yeah, and of course it'll be in the lineup for if you're subscribed to the YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube. Fuck. And leave a like on this episode, leave a comment. Fuck. I should have did that early. But as always, it'll be in the SoundCloud. Fuck. It'll be in the YouTube playlist. Rap and Wrestle will be coming out with all the other shows. So, yeah. Yeah, let me say bye to these free niggas, and then we're going to get into this fucking how The Rock is a garbage actor. And John Cena can only play one role.
Yeah. Let's get into it.
I'm coming back, guys. I'm coming back, I promise. 2 kicks and a hug, and I'm saying bye to you free niggas. Shout out to the women that's always in the gym, but don't know the difference between a dumbbell and a deadlift. Dumb niggas love y'all. Shout out to the men that fuck with bad bitches, but date bitches with bad kids. Dumb niggas Dumb bitches love y'all. Shout out to the black people in partnerships with the same vision. Tackling goals together with mutual understandings. We love you. With all that being said, I'm back on my bus driver shit because lo and behold, they actually get paid more than teachers most of the time. So I'm here to flex on your 3rd grade teacher while kicking you the fuck off my bus after you just left for class. Take your ass home. This bus ain't for you. Peace. Free niggas.